begin by saying welcome to John Melbourne as we continue our analysis of sports in our diaspora and in our home country, the Caribbean. And this is on July 17th of 2024. And here we're going to get a sports update from John Melbourne in John's
Thank you
corner.
so much, Trevor. And once again, a very good evening now. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are listening to us here on this Sosofat Media Network. And just let me mention on this platform, we will span the Caribbean with sports updates, sometimes live interviews and mixed with updates. So lock us in. And just let me also remind you, you may go to Winner's Circle Sports in the Sosofat shop and get merchandise.
Yes.
As listed, including the great Jamaican Blue Mountain Coffee.
Oh, yes.
But let me start this afternoon's updates with some birthdays. Yesterday, our world champion gold medalist Sharika Jackson celebrated her birthday. She's now getting ready for the Paris Olympic Games that begins towards the end of this month. And today, Carlos Alberto, the great Brazilian captain of 1970 World Cup fame, he celebrates today. As a matter of fact, I tell a little story about Carlos, we had him on our program when I was at LIB, and this Pat Atwell had a program called, I forget what's the name of it, but Pat was having Carlos Alberto come in, and Pat didn't know anything about soccer, so he asked me to come in the studio with him, and I started asking Carlos a lot of questions, like, for instance, which Brazilian team was better, 1970 or 58? And he looked at me and he had some little, them little snapshot pictures. So I handed him one. He brought it to the studio. I handed him one and asked him if he would autograph it for me. He said, no. Let me send my driver for a big picture for you, and I autograph that one. And he did, and I have it up here in my wall of fame.
In your Hall of Fame background. Okay.
But also celebrating today, one or would have celebrated today, Toni Stone. Who is Toni Stone? Well, in 1953, she became the first female to play in the once famous Negro baseball leagues.
Wow.
And she played second base. On Thursday, reggae boy Alvis Poyle celebrates. And on Friday, David Bernard Jr., who a former Jamaica and West Indies cricketer, now coach, he celebrates her birthday. Shelley Ann Fraser Price pulled out of yesterday's 100 meters at the Spitzen track and field meet in Switzerland. The report I have is that she felt something while warming up and decided to withdraw from the race.
Okay.
All of a sudden, Jamaica's female sprint corps, or the leaders, are questionable for Paris. Elaine Thompson-Herah, she's out with an injury. And both Shelley Ann Fraser Price and Sharika seem to have some kind of little niggle. So they don't appear to be at their very best. Anyway, can Tia Clayton spring a 2024 surprise as Shelley Ann Fraser Price did in 2008? At that time, of course, you know who coached Shelley Ann. One Mr. Frano, and he's also coaching Tia Clayton. Anyway, Stacey Ann Williams was a winner at the meet, the Spitzer meet, winning the 400 meters in 50.58 seconds, while Kemba Nelson placed second in the women's 100 in 11.21 seconds. Sportswear giant Puma have cast their net over two more Jamaican professional athletes as NCAA Division I champions. Nikisha Price and Akila Smith have signed professional contracts with the global sportswear giant. Many-time Jamaican world champion and Olympic medalist Stephanie Ann McPherson says the Paris Olympic Games will be her last. She says the time has come to focus on her education and want to complete a physiotherapist program that she has already started. She has a personal best in over the 400 meters of 49.34 seconds. And cricket, lovely cricket. The Caribbean Premier League squads have been confirmed for 2024. The tournament goes off, as I mentioned earlier, August 28th with the Antigua and Barbuda Falcons, who have replaced the Jamaica Talawas, hosting the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots at the Sir Vivian Richards Cricket Stadium. The 6 teams in the competition are Barbados Royals, Guyana Amazon Warriors, Antigua and Barbuda Falcons, St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots, the St. Lucia Kings, and the Trinbago Knight Riders. Well, can I call it the after perks of the 2020 Cricket World Cup? Nicholas Pooran is the only West Indies cricketer named to the team of the tournament. He scored 228 runs in the tournament with a top score of 96. India have 6 players in the lineup, including Captain Rohit Sharma, Surya Kumar Yadav, Hardik Pandya, Aksar Patel, Jasprit Bumrah, and Archdeep Singh. And following the whipping at Lord's last week, West Indies go into tomorrow's second test against England at Trent Bridge, hoping to square this 3-test series at 1 apiece. In January, West Indies suffered a 10-wicket defeat to Australia at Adelaide, but bounced back in the second test at the Gabba to level the series. Can lightning strike twice? In that second test, Guyanese fast bowler Shamar Joseph emerged. However, he wasn't at his fiery best in the first test at Lord's and actually left the field with an injury. He did come back, bowled 4 balls in another spell, and left the field again. He has been declared fit for tomorrow's test, and the team that played in the first test will take the field in the second test. And that team is Craig Brathwaite, captain, Alec Athanaze, Joshua De Silva, Jason Holder, Kavim Hodge, Azari Joseph, Shamar Joseph, Michael Louis, Kirk McKenzie, Gudakesh Moti, and Jaden Seals. Still, Trevor, I can't believe West Indies selectors send a test team to England or anywhere for that matter without Shea Hope and Roston Chase out of Barbados, of course, once they're available. Anyway, Andre Coley is the head coach, while Jimmy Adams is with the team as the batting coach. And once again, the tenors of the Honorable Dr. Desmond Haynes and Anne Brown John as Cricket West Indies men and women senior cricket team lead selectors ended June 30th per their contracts, and Cricket West Indies have decided not to renew the contracts. Who will fill those roles? I suppose it's up to President Kishore Shala. However, in a chat I had some time ago with West Indies and ICC umpire Billy Doctrove, I suggested maybe an umpire should be part of that West Indies selection panel. And Billy agreed with the suggestion. He thought it was a valid suggestion. He thought umpires get a closer look at players and might be able to make better selections for a West Indies team. Anyway, congratulations to Guyana under 19 women The Cricket West Indies under-19 Women's Rising Stars champions following their 23-run Duckworth-Lewis win over the Leewards under-19 women at the Brian Lara Academy over the weekend. Leewards bundled out for 68 in 19.4 overs. Guyana were on their way to a comfortable win at 63 for 5 in the 12th over when rain halted play. At the stoppage, they were, of course, 23 runs ahead of the Duckworth-Lewis par score. Because of Hurricane Beryl, the schedule for the Cricket West Indies under-19 men's tournament had to be adjusted to 3 two-day matches instead of 5 three-day games. All the opening games ended in draws. So too, in the second round, all the games ended in draws. In the world of football, Lautaro, or soccer for some, Lautaro Martinez won one for Lionel Messi as Argentina defeated Colombia 1-0 to win the Copa America. It was Argentina's third international championship win on a trot, as they won the Copa in 2021, the FIFA World Cup in 2022, and the Copa in 2024. Messi wasn't on the field when the final whistle blew in extra time, as he left the field with an injury to his right ankle in the 66th minute. It was Argentina's 16th Copa America title. This one not so good. With Jaime Hallgrimsson packing his bag and heading for Ireland, the question now, where does the Jamaica Football Federation go to get their next coach? Local or abroad? I don't know if it could be fertile ground to see former Jamaica College coach Miguel Ecoli taking the reins as Jamaica senior football coach. I don't think the Federation will go back to Theodore Tapper Whitmore, nor to Paul Hall, for that matter, even Carl Brown. We understand, however, that the Jamaica Football Federation Technical Committee has whittled the list of candidates down to 5. I don't know if you're on that list, Trevor, but rumor has it that former Manchester United Triple Crown winner Dwight York, who is Trinidadian, is under consideration. And the JFF is hoping to fill that vacancy by next month. Mexico has also said adios to coach Jaime Lozano following their disappointing Copa performance. He led Mexico to the 2023 Gold Cup title, but lost to the US in the CONCACAF Nations League earlier this year. The US also in the market for a new coach. As coach Greg Berhalter was fired 9 days after the US got booted out of the Copa first round. The US defeated Bolivia 2-0 in their opening game, but then they lost 2-1 to Panama and the same score to Uruguay. Reggae boy Bobby Reid has joined a newly promoted Leicester City on a 3-year contract. Reid scored 7 goals in 43 appearances for Fulham last season. Championship champions Leicester opened their season against Tottenham Hotspurs of the new campaign next season. FIFA has selected Brazil to host the 2027 Women's World Cup. Brazil was selected ahead of a joint proposal from Belgium, Netherlands, and Germany. The field was reduced to 2 candidates after a joint US-Mexico bid was pulled in April and South Africa withdrew its candidacy in November. Meanwhile, Trinidad and Tobago's Crystal Sobers, Melissa Douglas, and Carissa Douglas Jacob have been appointed to the FIFA 2024 Under-20 Women's World Cup scheduled for Colombia August 31st through September 22nd. Sobers will serve as a referee, while Douglas and Douglas Jacobs will serve as assistant referees. Something we don't talk about too much in the world of netball. Jamaica's under-21 Sunshine Girls defeated Barbados 54-29 in the final of the America's Netball World Youth Cup qualifiers in Guadeloupe over the weekend. Trinidad and Tobago defeated the Grenada 61-39 for third place. And the Jamaica will be joined by Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago in the 20-team World Championship in Gibraltar next year, September 19th through the 28th. And locally in netball in Jamaica, the Elite League season did get going again, and Kingston Hummingbirds in a 52-43 win over the St. Anne Orchids. Manchester Spurs 43-36 over St. Catherine Racers, and that was the final weekend of the regular season. In the semifinals coming up next weekend, or this weekend, the Kingston Hummingbirds take on Manchester Spurs, while St. Catherine Racers play the St. James Sharks. And down under, in Australia Suncorp Super League, Jamaica Sunshine Girl captain Janelle Fowler Nemhard continues to lead her West Coast Fever to wins as the Fever ran over the Melbourne Mavericks 76-57 in their final regular season game on Saturday. Janelle hit on 67 of 68 attempts. Then on Sunday, fellow Sunshine Girl Romelda Aiken-George led her Adelaide Thunderbirds to a 64-62 squeaker over Sunshine Coast Lightning. Romelda completed 44 of her 51 attempts. The Melbourne Vixens also won, defeating the Queensland Firebirds 62-52. So the Thunderbirds, the Vixens, and the Fever all end the regular season tied on 44 points. In the semifinal, on Saturday, the Adelaide Thunderbirds play the Melbourne Vixens. Then on Sunday, West Coast Fever play the Sunshine Coast Lightning in the second semifinal. Of course, Wimbledon ended on the weekend, and Czech Republic's Barbora Krejcikova defeated Italy's Jasmine Paulina 6-2, 2-6, 6-2 to win the women's title. Then on Sunday, Spaniard Carlos Alcaraz retained his title by defeating Serbia's Novak Djokovic 6-2, 6-2, 7-6. That match actually was a replay of last year's Wimbledon. And Olympics news to round out to this sports update, you know. The J3As named a 66-member team for the Paris Olympic Games, but there is still a question as to whether the alternates will be with the delegation at the time of competition. Former Haitian Olympic swimmer Naomi Grandpriere to lead her younger brother, 21-year-old Alex Grandpriere, and 14-year-old Maya Schuler at the Paris Olympics. Naomi was the first female swimmer to represent Haiti when she went to Rio 2016. Jamaica's 20-year-old Sabrina Lynn heading for the Paris Olympic Games also, where she'll swim in the 50 free. She currently attends Louisiana State University. Joining her will be Josh Curlew, who will swim in the 100 fly, while Yona Knight Wisdom will be diving in his third Olympic Games. St. Kitts and Nevis sending two track athletes and a swimmer to Paris. The athletes are sprinter Naquil Harris for the 100 meters, Zara Allers Liebert in the women's 100, and swimmer 15-year-old Troy Nesbitt, who will swim the men's 50 free. And I need to console Bahamas finally, Trevor. They missed out on qualifying for the basketball in the Paris Olympic Games when they lost to Spain actually in the final, 86-78. And that's where I put a wrap on John's sports update this afternoon on the Sosofat Media Network. Of course, folks, enjoy the week, be safe, and see you next week.
And that's a wrap on John's Corner. And let me say this, we are so excited to actually get this program started. And we will keep you updated as we go forward with all that is happening down in the Caribbean and with the Paris Olympics around the corner and the World Cup. It's gonna be a very exciting time in sports. Thank you so much, John.
And before you run in, Trevor, also the under-20 track and field championships in Peru, I think it is also coming up after the Olympic Games.
Yes. Yeah. So it's gonna be some interesting times for you, John.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting times. Thank you on behalf of our listeners as we take our leave until next Wednesday at the same time. Remember, you can tune in or you can join us on our Zoom platform. To contact us, just send an email or a text 347-538-0276 or contact by email at contact@sosabone.com. And you will be able to see this recording on this broadcast on the Sosofat Media Network. Thank you so much.